Hello, everyone. My name is Vernice, and this is my podcast, Speak Up. I hope you guys are all having a great week out there. This month flew. I don't know where it went, but I hope it's been going well for you guys. For my new listeners out there, and for those of you that don't know, the mission statement for this podcast is we'll use our voices to motivate people to overcome life's challenges through self-love and respect. So this is a place for self-love and respect. I'm excited for tonight's episode. We're going to talk about some amazing topics. So let's go ahead and introduce my amazing guest for tonight. She's a journalist, a producer, and a creative. Y'all give it up for Miss Dixon. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. How are you? Thank you so much for having me. I love it here.
Yes, right. No problem at all. I'm so excited to finally have you on here.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So as you said, I am a journalist, specifically West Coast hip hop journalist, looking to work with a lot more creatives and artists, but I just use my platform to speak up for those who are overlooked that definitely deserve the shine and, doing their own thing. So I'm really excited. For the past couple of years, I've just been building a community and shining light on the next step.
Oh, I love that. You definitely out here doing that, by the way.
Thank you.
So what got you into being a journalist?
Honestly, Barbara Walters. I grew up watching Barbara Walters. Of course, she taught journalism, but what I really loved about her is how she was able to ask the hard questions, or like when it came to hard topics, like Barbara Walters was the person that people always wanted to sit down with, and they felt comfortable. They trusted her with telling, their story and hearing their voice. So Barbara Walters was the person who got me wanting to do journalism. But once I learned how I could mix journalism with music, that's when 106 in Park, Angie Martinez, Big Boy, just realizing that I could really fuse the two. I just knew that that's what I wanted to do. And then producing and then editing and going to school. I do have my BA in journalism, so I worked for it. Also in Africana studies, so I have 2 degrees. So just being able to blend all of that together and tell the stories for, like I said, those who get overlooked, who absolutely deserve their shine. And also, like, my specialty is like telling the stories that nobody else is telling, or really getting to the nitty gritty of why we even have a story. So I really pride myself on that. But that's kind of how I got it started into journalism.
Oh my goodness. And I love your answer. I'm glad you brought up like the hard questions and nitty gritty, because it's deeper than just asking someone 3 questions. Oh, here we go.
It's more how did the album go, or what's your favorite song? Like, no, I want to know the behind. Like, how did this come together? Did you cry when you came out of the booth when you did that? Like, I want to know the story.
And it's definitely a skill to make people that comfortable to open up and like be a diary in that moment, even though it's in the public eye. So I applaud you for that. Yes, it's huge. So what's your favorite part about being a creative?
Honestly, it's just being able to figure it out. Like, I just feel like we live in such a world now, especially like when I went to school, everything had to be so by the book. Like, there was A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And now I feel like with social media and the way that people are able to connect, it's like being creative or figuring out how you want to be creative is my favorite part, because there's no exact blueprint anymore. It's just whatever you think or feel is right, and that is right. So, and even if it's not the right thing, you still have the freedom to play with it and see, okay, how can I make it something? So being able to revamp. But I think for me, my favorite part of being a creative is figuring out how to be creative, because there's so many different ways you can do it.
I love that. And I love what you do, because you're able just to really show up as yourself and
Right.
bring that vibe, and then make everyone else feel comfortable in their own skin too. So I love that.
Thank you.
And
that's something I realized you can only be you. There's only one Miss Dixon. There's only one JV. Like, you might as well be that.
Right? At the end of the day.
Right? I feel like we're in a time now, people, they can feel, I can too. Like, you can just feel when it's not genuine, like when it's manufactured, like, or when it's strategic. And I just don't want to move that way. Everything has to be in line naturally.
Yeah, I'm really big on that, especially when I'm choosing guests for the show. Like, I don't just want anyone. I really want someone, genuine, I can have that deep conversation and make that impact with. So, like, I know too, with journalism, you do have to pay attention to what you're putting out there, because that is your work, especially with the guests that you pick. So I feel you on that.
Right.
So I know you're in. Okay. I know you're a huge music fan, really into music. So who's the artist that you would like to interview and why? If you could pick anybody right now.
I'm sorry, one more time.
Oh,
The last part.
yeah, who's the artist that you would love to interview right now if you got to pick anybody?
You know, it's so funny because I was just saying this while I was driving today. Dom Kennedy. I know it's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen or when it's going to happen, but I know that Dom Kennedy is going to happen. There's so many questions I want to ask that man, like for real. So I'm excited for that because he, like LA and a lot of the artists, like Dom is just like super LA coded and his music is super Dom coded. So I really want to have a deep dive conversation with him one day if he'll allow me, because I know he don't talk a lot. So.
Right. I actually met him a couple times. He was really nice. You see, he was real cool, down to earth. So we gonna manifest that for you, that interview.
Yes.
Like yes. Oh, okay. Good choice. Great choice. I can definitely see you doing a write-up for him. I love it.
Yeah, I've loved 2 write-ups on Dom Kennedy. I hopefully Dom know who I am, because I be tagging him like, Dom, what we doing?
You're outside with it. And that's the thing, putting in that work, being outside. You're right.
Right.
So on your media platforms, you have the quote, "Music is life." What does that mean to you?
Really, it's that. Like, I truly I love music so much. Like, I feel like my soul is music notes. Like, there's nothing else in the world that moves me, that motivates me, that makes me feel on all levels, on all senses. Like, I love music, and music is life. Like, I don't know what I would do in this world without music. It's just, I love it. And that's not just hip hop, that's music in general, because the way that I grew up, I listen to all types of music, old music that probably people don't even know, but
I love it too.
It's influence and how it's really a universal language, and it connects people. Like, I often think about, like, you know, during the civil rights movements and things like that, like how music was such a big influence into really making impact and changing the world. And so I just love music. I love the influence that it has, the impact that it makes globally, but also in my life as well. There's not a song for a feeling that hasn't been, like, you know, so I love, if I could marry music, I would. Like, I'm one of those people, like those crazy people, how people be marrying just random stuff. I would literally marry music if I can, because I love it that much.
Hey, music is life.
Music
love
is
it.
life. If I bleed music. Like,
well said.
So you first, West Coast second.
West Coast with it. So you mentioned how, you know, one thing that made Barbara stand out as a journalist was the fact that she asked those questions that people weren't afraid to ask. So in your opinion of yourself, what makes your interview style / publication stand out, and why?
For me, and the experience that I've had with the artist so far is the fact that I'm asking questions that are about them, that pertain to them, that I really do like my homework and really care about what it is, whether that's a song lyric, whether that's something that you posted. Like, I really dig into the nitty gritty. One thing that I kind of hate in interviews is when they have an artist and they're like, okay, so tell me what it's like working with so-and-so, or what was it like when so-and-so did. And it's like, we're not here to talk about other people. Of course, some of those things are going to come up, like when you're working like with somebody bigger or whatever, but it's like, I want the focus to be on you. And when I ask those questions, I want you to know, like, I really tapped into your story. I care about your story, and I want to help the people understand your story and why this, on whatever we're talking about, makes such a difference or impact, not just for your career, but what it can mean to somebody else too. Because like I said, music is a universal language. It's the way people cope and communicate. And, you know, artists, they drop these bodies of work that means so much, that they took so much time spending and crafting, or, you know, whatever. And that's the story that I want to tell about the project while also knowing the artist. So I feel like for me, what makes me special is, like, I get down to the nitty gritty. Like, I really care about who I'm interviewing and why. Like, you have a story to tell, so let me help you tell it.
That is some genuine journalism right there. I love that. And it goes with tonight's episode. We're going to get into that about shining the spotlight on the others. So that's a big one. So, us being Black women in media, I was going to ask a question like this. So, what are some challenges that you have faced being a Black woman in media? Any pros or cons? Any experiences you want to talk about?
Weirdly enough, it's really crazy how media is portrayed as, well, not portrayed, but for what I do in the hip hop scape, like Black women, like we really are the ones who are like, I feel like pushing the line from what I see, especially behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. But yet, like we get we don't get respect for, what we do. So I do feel like it's hard being a Black woman in media. Like we don't get the light. Sometimes we don't even get the respect, especially when we are good at what we do. So it has its challenges, but to me, it's also not encouragement, but it gives me that fuel, that passion. Like, oh, okay, that's what we doing. Well, I'm gonna do it anyway. So yeah, it's hard. There's definitely challenges that I face, but I honestly, I find a way to overcome, and that's just by doing what it is that I want to do. Like, okay, I can't get that press pass, I'm gonna find another way to cover it. Like, that's fine. There's another angle that I can take. And that's just kind of how I've been getting around. But I really hope that one day that changes, because like I said, I'm in front of the scenes, but I'm behind the scenes too. And it's really Black women that are pushing the envelope. So hopefully we will get our due. So
I love it. Like, I'm gonna make it happen regardless.
And that's what Black women do. We figure it out. We make it happen regardless. Okay, I can't go through the front door. I'm going through the back door. I'm going through the window. I'm going through the chimney door.
I'm getting in.
I'll come through the vent if I have to. Like, what are we doing? So
that's okay. Look, thank you for your answers. So right, you guys, tonight's episode is titled "Light It Up." So we are talking about being able to support others, shine light on others. I know I'm thinking of Ruchi's song right now.
Right.
Literally. So yeah, that's tonight's episode. So I'm like the perfect guest for this episode. So let's get into the Ask Up question of the night. So if you're listening out there, please feel free to answer this question. I always go back and read the comments. Tonight, I'm going to go ahead and answer first. Tonight's Ask Up question of the day is, what's your favorite way to shine the light / support other people? I'm going to say, I'm not afraid to give people their flowers. I'm really big on, I see you out there killing it. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to post it. You have an event, I'm quick to pull up. Like, just to be in the crowd, just to observe, to learn. I like to learn from people. That's another way I like to shine light on others. Like, I'm not afraid to say, I learned this from this person, or got inspired by this person. I think sometimes too, we're in a generation where some people are afraid to admit when something inspires them, or like they notice somebody's light is shining. And it's like, I think it's a beautiful thing when someone can stand bright and you can acknowledge that. And it doesn't mean your light isn't shining because someone else's light is. So that's my answer to that. But what about you, Miss Dixon? How do you, what's your favorite way to shine light on people / support other people?
So my favorite way to shine light, one way I do is my selections, a Miss Dixon selection, but also just honestly reposting, resharing, liking, commenting. I know people say that all the time. You like, whatever, but no, like that really makes a difference. Like, I can't tell you how many times just leaving a comment or just getting in the inbox and letting somebody know, hey, I love what you're doing. Like, keep going. That gives them all the motivation in the world. And you're thinking like, oh, I'm just leaving them a comment. No, what you said might have kept that person going today. Like that, I literally sent a message like that today to this young girl who, she's a dancer. I won't give her up, but she was kind of going through it. And I'm like, girl, like take up space. Like you that one, like never quit. Like, remember, we on a marathon. So, just those words of encouragement. Even when they're not doing something, because I know the artists will tell you, I notice when they go quiet, I'm like, you quiet, what you doing? You need some words of encouragement, because you that one, right? So I like to remind people of who they are. I love to give people their flowers. I mean, that's part of being a journalist is, going out there, seeing who's doing what and shining light on it. So I that's essentially my job. I love giving people their flowers because I care about what they do, because it moves me. I would, you know, if you have to be moving me, or I'm getting something from it if I'm giving it back to you. So I just want to give back to you what I feel like you've given to me. So I just try to use my voice to support, you know, whoever I can, and what if I like what they're doing, because I'm already with it.
Yes, that's huge. And it's like, I feel you on the comments, because sometimes you might post something like whatever, but that one little comment or something, good job, you need it sometimes. You know, we all, what's I said, this life isn't easy, and it really will knock you down if you let it. And I think that the thing is the importance of community. People need to understand, when someone in the community is successful, everyone is. I feel like we're all helping and pouring into each other. That's how you can evolve. You know, I've run into you at a few events, seeing people together, you know, put in, whether it's something tiny, becomes something huge. That's the success. That's the beauty of things.
It's all about community. It's all about showing up for each other. And how you were saying earlier, showing light on somebody else does not dim your light. If anything, it just makes your light even brighter, because people don't do that, and they're like, oh dang. And shout out to Jason Cash. He actually dropped a freestyle where he had, or a song where he has a line like that, like, don't wait till everybody else is hyping me up to be the one to hype me up. Like, support your people, your community, your friends before other people tell them that they the one, especially when you know that they the one. Like, now that's just hating. Don't do that.
Yeah, it's hating.
Don't do that.
Like, support shouldn't be trendy. It shouldn't be, oh, it's cool to support this person, now I'm gonna do it. You should be supporting because you genuinely like their craft, or you see they hustle. So
right. And even if you don't, because people love criticism, like, hey, you know what, that's not for me, but you know what, you did your shit, you feel me, maybe I'll like the next thing, because sometimes that happens to me too. So I'm very honest about what I like and what I don't like, but I will never bash what I don't like, because we don't do that over here. We don't bash over here, but I'll see you on the next thing.
Right. Yeah, sometimes everything just isn't our cup of tea, and that's okay. So I love that. So another question, so far, what was one of your favorite write-ups or interviews that you have done on an artist?
Ooh.
You can name one off the top of your head.
Well, there's
I know it's hard.
I'll say my very first one that I was really proud of was the article that I did with Homegrown Radio when Blast had his second show. That, to me, to hear from him, big, like, people in the camp, because that was a very detailed article, because I had been following his progress, like, since he started. So all the little nuances, the certain people he had on stage, like, that was really big for me. I was proud that I did my journalist shit. I loved when Kendrick dropped his Untitled project. I was, I think, the first journalist ever to write about it. Shout out to Homegrown. I got a little insider, thing. So I got to write on that. Mark Lux was one of my favorite interviews that I have up on my YouTube page. You could go watch that, get to know Mark Lux. Just hearing his story and listening to his music. That was really fun. And honestly, Airplane James, he's one of my favorites, because I've been covering his whole career. And then most recently, I did one with Jason Cash. Hopefully it'll be out by the time that this is out, but I felt like that was a really good interview to tell his story. So I mean, I've had a few. I love what I do, and I love everything that I do with everybody. So
right.
Unless I do it.
And I love how you could track an artist's growth, everything they've done over the years. Like, it makes it even more impactful.
My favorite part. That's
right. Because some people do someone one time, and then it's kind of like you never hear about that person again, but the fact you're staying on it, I love that.
Thank you.
Right. So, all right. So, all right, you guys, it is now time for the tweet up. I like to do it. I know it's called egg. Tonight's tweet up that goes with tonight's episode is something I tweeted last week, is no need to compare. We are all on unique paths. So in a day, we all receive blessings, and we're all on unique paths. I think, society messes up with comparing our blessings to other people and shortcomings and upcomings. Or you may be in a storm and someone just came out of it. You don't know what they went through to get there. Can we just stop comparing? Can we just embrace all the uniqueness? There's going to be a moment when you're not at your best, but someone is celebrating, and it's the other way around, or y'all both are. But I feel like I'm really big on being happy for others and celebrating others, even when I'm not at 100%. I think it's important to still show that community and still shine that light that we're talking about. So yeah, that's the tweet up for tonight. So, how do you tap into your creative side?
Hmm. Honestly, first I have to meditate or pray.
I love that.
Because I want to bring the best of me to whatever work it is. Because I realize that being a journalist, although sometimes it could be about what I'm doing, it's really not about me. It's about the artist, the person, the subject that I'm interviewing. So I want to be the best me that I can be to bring out whatever it is that they need to, be brought out. So at first I meditate. Then I definitely do my research. Just to tie up any loose ends. And then I just have faith while it's happening. Like you have to let it happen natural, and it's okay to stumble. You just, you pick it back up. But just being creative, I feel like for me is really spiritual too, because it's how we express ourselves. And I know that I'm being a vessel for somebody else's story. So I feel like that's very important.
Oh my goodness, yes. Oh, that was a message right there. So, I'm really big on impact and, and giving advice to others. So what's a tip you would give to an aspiring journalist who's just starting out?
I would say, especially right now in today's time where the art of journalism is being lost, is number one, have courage, have faith. Like it's being lost, but it's not lost. And that's what makes the difference. I'll definitely say have faith, do your research, be sure. Also remember that everything is not for everybody and you're not for everybody. And that's okay. That's completely okay. But also do what makes sense. Do what aligns with your brand and the type of stories that you're trying to tell. And also post the work. Like, don't be afraid. Don't let stuff sit in the drafts. It's okay if it's not perfect. I promise you, somebody is watching. The person who you're interviewing is going to appreciate it, and you just learn how to get better. But one thing you bet not do is don't quit. God will not give you something or put it on your heart if he didn't mean for that to be something. I think it's going to be the next big thing, and that's okay, but it's a start. It's going to get you along the way. So definitely start, don't quit, have faith, do the research, and remember that you're being a vessel for somebody else.
Oh, I love that. I hope you guys are all out there taking notes, because she out here dropping some gems. It is now time for the Life Up segment. So Life Up segment is when I take the topic and I relate it to an issue in today's world. So going off tonight's topic, the Life Up is people attempting to dim other people's light to stand out and not giving attention to people's accomplishments. So when I'm going, the direction I was heading with this is, you ever seen pages where they're only blowing up because they're putting others down and things like that? And it's like, we all have opinions. We can all be opinionated. I know social media, but also too, is that the only way you're getting attention because of your way to do that? Is that the only way your light could shine because of that? And I think it's just very important to know that, like I said, your light could shine, they light could shine, and we can all eat together.
Facts, super facts. Yeah, man, we live in a world of where trolling equals winning, and I just can't. My mom taught me a long time ago what mama say: if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. So I be on tight lip, but I will give, I do also feel like the world needs constructive criticism, and sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. But with that being said, I say, like, just don't be that person. Like, it's okay to not be that person. Let them do them, and you just talk big shit about the things that you do love. Like, those are the things that you hype up. They can be hating over here, but don't be that person. Don't be a hater. And it's okay. Again, it's okay to shine your light on somebody else, because that just makes your light brighter. That makes their light brighter. And now, y'all going together and y'all building a community. Like, it's not about who shines the brightest. We all shine it. Like, I don't know if I cuss on here, but like, Just shy.
I'm gonna get a shirt. Don't be a hater.
Right, don't be a hater. Like, please, like, let's not do that. Like, and don't be.
High.
One thing I've been seeing lately too is let things happen like genuinely, and be loud about the things that, like I said, that you do love, and whether that's, you know, not music, like whether it's music or not, like just whatever it is that you love, be loud about it.
Great answer. You basically answered the how do we fix this. I would say, yeah, don't be a hater. Celebrate others and show up for others. Like, that's just where we are.
Right. And show up for yourself too. Sometimes it's really hard. I mean, like you said, I feel like here's the thing. We're all creatives, but I feel like sometimes we forget that we're all creatives. Like, we all go through the same things. We all go through those self-doubt moments, the discouragement, or I don't know how I'm make it happen next, whatever. Like, it don't matter from the top to the bottom. Everybody experiences that. So, like, remember that we're all human, and just be kind, because you don't know what it takes to be that person. Like, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Just think about what goes on behind the scenes when you're down. Think of somebody who's up from you. Like, you know, there's a lot to go on. So just remember that we're all human, and that we can all work. There's room for everybody, babe. I promise. There's people who don't want to make room, but that's why you take up space. That's why you show up. That's why you do what you do, and you show up for yourself. It don't matter about nobody else. You got to show up for you. As long as you can go to sleep with your heart and your, you know, faith, everything intact, that you know that this is what you're supposed to be doing, that's all that matters. You don't have to kick nobody, you know, to be you.
And I feel like the areas where they're not making room, that's why the stability isn't there, because there's no community and nothing to stand on. So that's big.
Gotta kick that door in, baby.
Kick it in. So, you know, I just talked about how I'm very particular about who I interview and things like that. So for you, what factors stand out to you when choosing who to interview / do a write-up on?
I like people with a story. Of course, the music is what brings me in, or whatever they got going, because it's not just music. I have other stuff coming with non-music artists, but whatever it is that you have going, obviously it brought me in. But okay, this is so cool. What's the story behind it? So I like people with a story. I like people with a message. I love people who have been able to overcome adversity, whatever that looks like, and they can still stand on business and stand on whatever it is that they're in. And I like personable people, because not everybody is always personable. So I like people who are human, realize that, you know, these are human interactions, and genuine people. I love people who are genuine. I can always tell, like, when it's genuine and like they're really trying to, you know, get their message out there. So I just want to be that vessel to help you, like, okay, let's talk about your story. But ultimately, I love people with a story. I mean, I'm a journalist, so I love to tell the story. But the music or whatever they got going is what ropes me in.
That's how you end up getting the nitty gritty. I love that. But all right, you guys, it is now time for the drink up segment.
I feel like I should be drinking loud.
So if you're out there listening, please pull out some water and drink some water. And I have a water fact for tonight. According to Drink Prime, some of the benefits of drinking water go beyond hydrating skin. Water aids in flushing out toxins and impurities from your body, including those that negatively affect your skin. By eliminating toxins, water helps prevent acne breakouts, blemishes, and dullness, giving you a clearer complexion. So drink your water, keep that skin glowing. You know, they're going to be shining the light on you. That skin got to be looking good. So stay hydrated so your light can shine. Shoot, I love you. I love these water facts. And it's hot outside, so please drink your water. Like, stay hydrated. That's what I'm trying to say.
Please stay hydrated. Water is essential. It's funny, I ask artists a lot of the times. I'm like, well, you know, what's a studio essential? And it's always water. I'm like, yeah, keep that water on deck. Like, water is so important.
It will get you through. Okay, here we go. So if you can work with any media / publishing company, which one would it be and why? Oh no, I got the questions today.
Oh my gosh, that's so hard, because a lot of places have really started shutting down their journalism departments. It's crazy. Oh my gosh, I don't know. Okay. So a couple of years ago, or just overall journalism, I would say like Essence. I always wanted to write for Essence. Jet Magazine, although they no longer exist, but I have like every issue.
Back in the day.
I always wanted to write for Jet Magazine because they were really like in the Black community, like what's going on. So I'm not really sure. Right now, I'm gonna say honestly, Miss Dixon Productions. Like that's what I'm writing for. That's what I'm writing for. That's what we build on. Music is Life Productions, Miss Dixon Productions, whatever. That's the publication I want to be a part of. That's gonna go up. So
okay, I love like I have my own. I'm making my own room. Okay,
write my own.
That's huge. Okay.
You want your story told right? Come to Miss Dixon Productions.
Come over here. Come to Death Row.
Right.
Love it. Okay. But all right, you guys, it's now time for the Poet Up segment. See, I know I like to write poetry, and I use this to help hold myself accountable. So here's a quote or two from one of my poems. It's from my poem Siblings. So, the shackles of generational curses shall be broken. The path of healing and prosperity shall be built. We're family, we're blood. Our hearts beats to the same rhythm. We felt pain, we felt joy. We've been hot from anger. We've been cold in this cold world. This world is so big, but distance can't keep us apart. Our souls ascend together. Our love is real. Our fight is powerful. Strength and resilience, we live by that. Ups and downs, we've been through that. So that was a little piece.
I say. What you say? Okay.
Thank you. I guess we'll shine out here. I should have a guest.
My sister, my brother, like we're all connected. So yes, I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, I was like, let me hold myself together. I appreciate that.
3 snaps.
Snap we go. Snap it out. Now back into the episode. Actually, we have another segment coming up. It is now time for the show up segment.
Okay, show up.
So this is the show up segment. So how did I show up for myself this week? And if you're out there listening, please comment. How did you show up for yourself this week? The way I showed up for myself this week, I would say, okay, I signed up for another run. So it's time to get back in training mode. So I'm excited about that. So just like watching what I eat, getting back on my marathon tip. So here we go. So we'll see how that goes. What about you? How did you show up for yourself this week?
I showed up by pulling up. A lot of people don't know I don't live in LA anymore. Haven't lived in LA in a couple of years, unfortunately. I live 2.5, 3 hours away, but I always pull up. I always show up because this is what I wanted to do. This is what I want to do. For a long time, I kept that under wraps because I was really ashamed. It's like, how you gonna be from LA and you don't even live in LA no more? Like, oh my God. But I always come back home because this is, what I want to do. So I showed up by pulling up. I was up and down this highway like 5 times this week, and I was dog tired, but I still showed up. I also showed up by, putting my editing and everything together. I absolutely hate to edit. That's probably like the worst part for me, but I do it anyway. I show up and do it because they go get done unless I do it. So yeah. And then also, because I have to mention this, I also showed up for myself by showing up for my parents because I love them. They gave me life. So showing up for them or doing whatever it is that they need me to do, that's how I show up for myself because I love my family. We 3 pieces in a pod.
Beautiful, beautiful answer. And it goes with the next topic. The more you show up for yourself, the more you can show up for others. So that's definitely a part of it. So every time I have a guest on here, I love to ask them a fun question. So I really thought of yours, so it's kind of funny, but there's your fun question for tonight.
Okay.
You attended Kendrick's Juneteenth concert, right? He performed Not Like Us about 6 times. But which performance of that song did you say, oh wow, Kendrick is really calling now?
Honestly, by the first one, because I just knew like this was gonna be a moment. Like honestly, I don't even know how I got in that building, if we really being honest. Like I had to figure it out. But once I got there, like I already knew, like, that's the song everybody was waiting on. So, but I will say by the 3rd time, I was like, okay, because he wasn't even doing the song at that point. He was skipping over verses. People was running out on stage. Like it was everything. So wait, what was the question, girl?
Like by which performance were you like, okay, he up here really clowning? But you said for you was the
probably,
first. As soon as he started the song, okay.
He just kept on bringing people out. He like, we're great, like. So it was a moment, and I'm just so honored to have been a part of history. Like I said, I don't know how I got in that building. I just knew I needed to be in that building, and I'm thankful I was in that building. And thank you, Kendrick, for giving us such a moment. I honestly cried so many times throughout that show. It was not even like, it was actually pretty sad. And then I hyperventilated at one point because I just couldn't believe what was happening. Yeah, girl. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna put it out there. When Dom came out,
yo.
Because Dom don't be outside. He do not be outside. So
when he pop out is big, yeah.
Woo. But shout out to Kendrick and Free Lunch, PG Lang, Tim. Like they made a moment for us, for the city, for the history, and it was history. So I was honored to be there.
Yes, I love your answer. Well said, well said. So it is now time for the wrap-up segment. So this is the wrap-up segment. How does this relate to self-love? Self-love is loving yourself enough to let your light shine bright so you ain't tripping when other people's lights are shining. So you can still show up for other people and just embrace your community. Because I feel like self-love too is acknowledging what's around you, who's around you, pouring into those cups around you as well. You don't want to surround yourself with a toxic environment where everyone's putting each other down or not supporting each other. You want to surround yourself where the love is. Like my best friend used to always say, go where the love is. So we're going to share that on here today. So how do you practice self-love?
The first thing I do is I look in the mirror and I tell Miss Dixon that I love her very much and that I'm proud of her. I also tell her when we need to step it up and get it together, because I feel like for you to show up in the best way for others, you have to show up for yourself first. You have to believe in yourself and know that things are possible, which is hard to do. But once you can do that, then it's easier to love on other people, show for other people, because then it's like it's from a genuine space. So yeah.
And I love to ask every single guest this question. What do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for being genuine. I want to be remembered for being really good at what it is that I do. Like I said, I just don't say, I know it's a Tupac quote, like, oh, if don't nobody else care, Miss Dixon care, but I really care. So I want to be remembered for really caring, for being really good at what it is that I do. And I want to be remembered for being the best vessel that I could possibly be in whatever capacity that is, whether that's being a journalist now, when I become a music executive, because that is something that I'm manifesting as well. I want to be remembered for making an impact with my work overall. Impact,
that's huge, and you definitely doing it all right now. And remember, you guys, community is more powerful when people can celebrate each other, and your light shines brighter when you're able to shine on others. That's basically the gist for today. I appreciate you coming on here, dropping gems, sharing your story. Like you got the interview, I love it.
Thank you. I know.
This was a vibe, but before we go, can you shout your information out? Where can people find you, tap into your content, all of it?
Yes, so at the Miss Dixon on everything, Instagram, Twitter, on YouTube, type in Miss Dixon, I'll pop up there, run up my interviews, tap in with me on IG. If you're an artist, send me some music. If I don't get back to you, send me something else. It probably was that. It's okay. And yeah, let's work. So, whatever it is, however I can help you, let me know. Let's work.
That's big. She said, let's work, y'all. Let's put it together. I appreciate y'all tapping in to my 43rd episode of our newest segment, SpeakUpJV Now. This was such a vibe.
It really was. Thank you, girl. I did it.
Right? Make sure y'all follow me on Instagram at Vernisa. That's V as in Victor, ERNISA. I'm on Instagram at SpeakUpJV, Twitter X at SpeakUpJV, and we do Thursdays 8:30 p.m. shows. But I love you guys. Hope you guys all have a great rest of your week. And yeah, tap in with Miss Dixon, okay? Please tap into her content. All right, y'all. Bye.
Bye.